Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the ZipKrowd Rube Goldberg project. I am your host, Sankan, and today we are going to be working with items, ice and water. Frankly, most things using ice and water are pretty boring, so we are going to try and spice it up a tiny bit. We are going to use special hitbox positionings of the items to make the items go down specific and unique paths. The layout of this video is going to be slightly different to those of previous members just because of my own style of doing things. I'll start by showing you a few designs that I made in my creative world to give you an insight on the mechanics behind this contraption. Then I'll go on to showcase the big design I made for the Rube Goldberg machine. We're going to start with test subject number 1 here. If I told you that an item is injected into the stream here, what would you think would happen to the item? Well, what people would normally say is, well, it will travel down here, past this fence, and carry on going, right? Well, if you said this, then unfortunately you would be wrong. But why? The reason is because the item is pushed against these ender chests. For those who don't know, ender chests are a teeny tiny bit smaller than a block on all sides. This means when the item travels down here, it will collide with the edge of this block. After colliding with this block, it will get propelled by this water stream around the loop. Just before the item gets re-injected into the stream, it is pushed against these two ender chests. This ensures that when the item is pushed forwards, it will still be inside this water stream, which will push the item down and past the fence. Let's see this in action. Now, let's bump this up a notch and see how else we can manipulate the path of an item just by manipulating its position in a water stream. In this design, we inject the item into the water stream over here. It is in fact a lot easier to predict the outcome of this design with respect to the previous design, but it still shows some neat mechanics. The first thing to happen to our item is it collides with this ender chest. It's then pushed by the water streams past the fence all the way to the other side where it loops around. As before, we line the item up with these two ender chests before we propel the item into these two ender chests, so this water stream still pushes the item. The item then accelerates off on the right hand side of the ice path. The item falls off the end of the ice path and falls into one of two water streams, depending on which side of the ice path it is on. When the item veers off to the right, we send it backwards, up an item elevator, and back into the left-hand side of the original ice path. When the item falls off the left-hand edge into the water stream on the left, it is led to the finish. Finally, we are going to look at sending an item in a loop around the outside of a line of glass panes. The item is first lined up with an ender chest, and falls onto the edge of the block with the glass pane on it. Because it has been lined up with the ender chest, it is slightly inside the water stream. These water streams push the item to the end. At the end, we use a special water configuration to push the item back down the other side, once again using the ender chest to line the item up in the right position. Finally, we proceed to send the item on its merry way to the finish. Now that we understand some of the concepts we are going to be using, let's move on to the final design I made for the Rube Goldberg machine. First, we take the input from Whoopi's chunk and lead it into a command block which will summon a nether star called Starry. Then, Starry will be led into a water stream and up an item elevator to the next level. This will lead her into a contraption, a bit like the second contraption I created in my test world. When Starry leaves the contraption, she falls back down to the ground.
Aw, poor ground.
Here, she travels along the stairs, which makes her bounce with excitement. Starry bounces to another item elevator, which elevates her into a slime block launcher. Starry is launched into an ender chest, and then makes her way around the edge of a glass pane path. After she successfully completes a lap of the glass pane path, she will veer off into a final water stream. She will travel along and back into a double slime block launcher, finally activating a pressure plate next to her one true love, Barry. To finish off this episode, I would just like to say a quick poem. There once was an item called Starry. She really knew how to party. She got really high and got launched through the sky to find her true love, Barry.